My goal is to help you make dentistry more fun, rewarding, and fulfilling. Let's just say it, dentistry is hard. I bet most of you found it much harder than you ever expected when you were in dental school. Physically, the long hours can be difficult. There are lots of repetitive motions, posture issues, and different strains in the body that build up over time. Mentally and emotionally, it can get very difficult managing patient anxieties day in and day out. There is consistent time pressure, constantly juggling a busy schedule, bouncing from room to room to room, leaving little times for breaks or recovery. Everything you do requires attention and detail, and if you're trying to do a good job, it can be difficult if something isn't perfect. Every patient you see has high expectations. There's always some form of conflict resolution needed, whether it's between a patient or staff members. Decision fatigue is a real thing. While you're constantly making clinical and business decisions all throughout the day, that can be exhausting. Socially, this can be an incredibly lonely profession. I have practiced in a group setting and also by myself, and practicing by yourself is incredibly isolating. There are so many difficult situations, and often there is no one to vent or to ask for advice. With so much to do while you're in the office and then also outside of office hours, most motivated dentists struggle with any kind of work-life balance. It leaves very little time for family or hobbies. There are lots of business pressures if you own your own practice. It is difficult to manage the finances, deal with HR issues, and recruit and maintain full teams. It's difficult managing insurances and the constant pressures of not being able to control your prices. In certain areas, there is tremendous competition, requiring you to have a great strategy and market heavily to retain patients. There are never-ending compliance issues, increasing state regulations, fees, and problems that you're constantly having to manage and navigate. On the financial side, most dentists come out of school with ever-increasing amounts of student debt. The high cost of paying this off can be very taxing and stressful. Most dental students don't realize how much pre-tax income you have to make in order to pay your student loans with post-tax dollars. If you want to buy a practice, then that is another huge obstacle that requires tremendous amounts of debt and a higher risk tolerance. With ever-increasing labor shortages, staffing costs, and increasing and shrinking margins down to almost nothing for many practices. At the same time, you are expected to have high technology equipment and use the latest and greatest materials and techniques. Doing all this, especially as a solo practitioner, can clearly be daunting. On top of that, there are health risks, as we are constantly exposed to infectious diseases with nearly every patient. All of these things lead to incredibly high rates of burnout, anxiety, depression, and unfortunately high rates of suicide as well among dental professionals. On top of all that, there are ever-increasing professional risks with lawsuits, a high risk for litigation, online reviews, managing your practice reputation, and additional regulations. Every time a patient leaves your practice, you might take it personally. Every time a bad review comes in, it can feel like it's an attack on you as an individual. Unfortunately, these are just some of the things that make dentistry a much more difficult profession than it seems on the surface. For these reasons and more, I want to do the best I can to try and help dentists make their careers more fun, rewarding, and fulfilling. With all these obstacles, it can create a tremendous headwind against progress. After listening to all these things, it may have made you even more depressed, which is the opposite of what I'm going for. Even though many of these things that I've said are the reality, the great thing is that with dentistry, we have tremendous amounts and levels of autonomy, and we can control our future. This is an incredible blessing and one that most people do not have. While all this can seem daunting, it is possible to build an incredibly fun, rewarding, and fulfilling life in the field of dentistry. In my experience, we typically enjoy things that we are good at. With all these difficulties, it can be easy to stop progressing, to stop getting better at many different aspects of dentistry. I want to help change that and help you progress and get good at things. I want you to get so good at all the aspects of dentistry that you can't help but love it. In order to do that, I'm going to create a number of different series that will help you get better at the core aspects of dentistry, from doing exams to fillings and even some of the most monotonous basic things in the practice. They are all incredibly important. If you are doing them the same way you did 2, 3, or even 5 years ago, then that is not progress. When progress stops, dentistry gets boring and depressing. I can't tell you how many dentists have talked to me over the years and vented about dentistry. They can't stand it and want to try to find a way to get out of the profession. Or maybe they just want to get out of the clinical work. However, they have just spent 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars going through school, and now they feel trapped. Do you feel trapped? If you do feel trapped, just know that you are not alone. With all of the many practices that I have owned and the many doctors that I have worked with and trained, I would probably say that you might be even in the majority. Most will not admit it, but even if they aren't trying to get out of dentistry, at the very least, there's a real burnout issue in the field of dentistry. One of the themes that you will notice is that I want to help each of you get better and faster at everything that you do. The better and faster you get, the more fun, rewarding, and fulfilling the profession will become. So where do we start? Whenever I talk to dentists and ask them how I could help them, what I can do to make their lives better or improve their practice, the most common thing that I hear is, well, if I could just not do fillings ever again, I would be happy. I would love dentistry. And how many times have you heard that or heard people complain about quadrant fillings? Why do you think so many dentists hate fillings? Does it actually have anything to do with the fillings themselves? I would propose that the only reason people hate doing fillings is that they feel that they're bad at doing fillings efficiently or even profitably. If fillings were profitable, quick, easy, and didn't come with many complications, you'd probably like them, right? When fillings become one of the most commonly disliked procedures for dentists, I think that's a great place to start for us during this mastery series. Let's see if I can help you or at least start you on a path of progress with dental fillings. I'm not saying that I have the perfect technique or the perfect material or the perfect workflow that will magically make this happen for you. I am not even necessarily convinced that there is such a thing as one perfect way. I think the secret sauce is the journey of progression itself. I want to help you start a path that guides you and gets you so good at dental fillings that there is almost no way not to find more satisfaction in them. For each of these series, I would just ask that you have an open mind. There might be things you do not agree with, something might be said that you could potentially get offended, and that's totally okay. You're never going to progress and get better if you only surround yourself with people who do things the exact same way or that you do or think the same way that you do. If you have an idea or a technique that is better, please message me. I would like to continue and improve and update these videos with things that will help dentists get better, faster, and much earlier on in their careers. To do this, we have to pool our ideas together. Let's work together to make dentistry more fun, rewarding, and fulfilling. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more.